Hi there, I'm Richard Hill, the host of eCom at One, and welcome to episode 192. In this episode, I speak with Abhimanyu Kashikar, co-founder and CAO at Enchanto. Leading a team of over 300, Abi knows a thing or two about e-commerce growth, order and warehouse management. And in this episode, myself and Abi cover a lot of ground, hitting those growth plateaus and where to focus, current trends that Abi's seeing with his successful merchants. Abi talks us through the tech stack and where to focus for profitability. And of course, so much more in this one. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you are listening to this podcast, so you're always the first to know when a new episode is released. Now, let's head over to this fantastic episode. Hi, Abi. How are you doing?
Hi, Richard. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm really well, actually. Really well. Not bad at all. Looking forward to chatting. Obviously, we met at the RX in the centre of Birmingham not too many months ago now, a couple of months, well, it'll be about 6-8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We talk a lot on the show about going to exhibitions in your industry and obviously and about how the people that you meet can really transform your business potentially. And we met on a chance sort of conversation, didn't we, on one of the afternoons? And here we are on the podcast. So welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here, Richard. And of course, it was a great discussion as well. What we had during the IRX was really nice to meet you.
Lovely. So I think first things first, introduce yourself to our listeners and how you got into the world of e-commerce.
Certainly. So just a quick background. My name is Abhimanyu Kashikar. I'm currently based in the UK. I go by Abi. So thanks, Richard, for calling me Abi. It makes it easy. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at Enchanto. At Enchanto, we are basically a SaaS product company. We offer software products for businesses like brands, 3PL, logistics companies, retailers. We actually started our journey 13 years ago. We just celebrated 13 years on this Monday, 17th of June. Started from Singapore. And then today we have presence in 11 countries. I moved to the UK as part of our expansion plan to also take care of the business into UK as well as Middle East. So started more into technology side when started with Enchanto, moved into technology, then moved into operations, and now also moving into business. So I mean that's what the business side or the entrepreneurship basically puts you into anything and everything, and then you learn and you enjoy all that all those different strings that you get into. As a company, we initially started as a 3PL fulfillment company in Singapore. That was strategic for us, though we, from day one, we wanted to be a software company, but we didn't want to develop anything in isolation. So we set up the warehouse, started from small warehouse to a larger warehouse by the time we exited. That gave us a huge amount of learning. So that is still helping us today with our customers. To really talk their language. We are able to understand if, like this morning, I was talking to one of the customers, potential customer, and he explained me the way they are today managing close to around 300 to 400 orders per day from only a 1,000 square feet warehouse, warehouse. And that is quite amazing. And I can really visualize and relate things to it. So that gave us a lot of learning, of course. And then for the last six and a half years, we are now, we pivoted into a pure technology company.
Yeah.
Prior to Enchanto, sorry for the long introduction, but, prior to Enchanto, I was into a completely different industry. I was into semiconductors.
Oh, okay.
Spent like 12 years in semiconductors working for different companies on different technologies, CDMA, GSM, and whatnot. USB 3.0 is something which I had worked on way back almost 15, 16 years ago. So that was quite exciting. But there was always something somewhere in the corner of the heart that wanted to do something of our own. And then me and my colleague from my engineering days, we were in touch and we shared the same passion. We thought of coming together, and here we are, and 30 years down the line now.
I'd love to hear the story, to be fair, like the background where people, go from one industry maybe and then fall into something as just an idea. And obviously you were one of the co-founders and been in this business for a long, long time. Do you go out to Singapore at all?
Yeah, so before moving here to the UK, I was in India managing our India operations as well as overall company operations. Yeah. I also spent some time in Singapore. Keep traveling there. It's a great place to be.
I'm going out there in about 5 weeks' time. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah, just for a vacation, not work. So quite looking forward to that.
You'll enjoy
it. I actually studied there at university a long time ago. So I've got fond memories of about 30 years ago of studying at university in Singapore. Yeah, I did my degree here, but then I did an extension of my degree in Singapore University about 30 years ago. So looking forward to boring my children with, I used to go there, I used to study here, I used to go here.
It happens.
Taking them to the top. So obviously working with a lot of merchants now, a lot of merchants worldwide, globally. Your software sort of seems to offer unique advantages to e-com stores. If you were to break down the sort of the most compelling benefits of your software, what would that be? Your tech, sorry.
Got it. So see, I also would like to give a bit of background. I mentioned about we running fulfillment center when we started off, but we also used to do channel management for a lot of brands of L'Oreal, Essilor, 3M, etc. That gave us a great learning in terms of managing sales operations. So when I say sales operations, on the channel management side, on your website, on different marketplace channels, different stores, how you manage content, how you manage pricing, how you manage different bundles together, and then how you also run your pricing promotions or marketing campaigns. So of course, with that experience, that gave us a lot of insights in terms of knowing how merchants work, how business happens on different online channels. Sorry for that. So coming with that experience, we developed, of course, a couple of products around that. The way we solve some of the problems for the merchants, be it brands or retailers who are selling online into e-commerce space, is basically making their content or catalog listing part quite easier and simpler. Because primarily these days, lot of brands, lot of merchants, lot of sellers, they sell not only on one channel, but on multiple channels. We have customers who are selling on maybe 10 Shopify stores. Yep. They have 10 different Shopify stores selling on Shopify, but on 10 different stores. Or they're selling on different marketplaces. So managing your content on all those different channels makes it quite tiring for you if you have to really go through the qualification process, understanding what different nitty-gritties are there per channel. Makes it very, very time consuming. So that's one thing that we solve for our customers, for merchants through our product. That is one. Second is on the inventory side. So primarily in terms of the inventory, where let's say if you're selling on different online channels, it becomes quite challenging if you have to split the inventory and keep managing that. If you have 5, 10, 20, 30 odd products to sell, it is okay. You will probably know that which product is selling faster, which is not selling on a particular channel, and then you can move around the inventory. But then when you have 500, 1,000, 2,000 SKUs to manage, one of our large customers is today managing 450,000 SKUs. Yeah. And it becomes quite challenging for them to really see which inventory, which product is making sense. They have the right inventory, they are not getting out of stock and not losing business. So that's the second piece where we bring it with a common unified inventory for the businesses to basically push it on different channels. And then as and when there is an order from one of the channels, we adjust the inventory on another channel for them. Then third piece comes on the order processing side. So today, if I'm selling on 3 different channels, I have to go log in every time onto 3 different channels, pull out orders, give it to my operations team to process those orders, and then making sure that all the orders are ready to fulfill, go back, update the order status, tracking number, everything one by one or through bulk uploads. So what we do is we bring all those orders. So again, there is a single view for all the orders coming from different online channels. So that makes it very, very easy and simple in terms of you not missing SLAs as well, because a lot of times the merchants have put in maybe 24 hours delivery, same day delivery, 6 hours delivery, and then they tend to miss out on those type of orders. So the system makes sure that you are fulfilling, processing the orders in the right sequence so that you don't miss out on SLAs. And the fourth piece is also connecting it with the carrier systems, because then it makes it very, very seamless if you are pushing your parcel level, shipment level information to the carriers automatically whenever you're ready. Get the tracking number, automatically push it to the upstream channels. Makes it very, very simple. So you basically cut down all those manual interventions in the whole process. So yeah, I would say these are the four elements primarily that we started focusing on. Of course, there are a few more features very specifically for brands as well. I will come to it in a bit as well.
But I think you hit the nail on the head there with the I think merchants of a certain size, they are exploring and setting up on new channels, which is what is probably the easier way to, or the definite way to open a new channel, whether that's a new country, whether that's a new another Amazon in a different country, or it's a whole new site. Obviously these channels that you can create, obviously we could talk about that for a long time, but obviously they're managing the inventory, the stock, the listings, different countries, different languages even, can get quite complex. And obviously that's something that you guys excel at. Now, obviously you're working with a lot of different merchants, of some big, you mentioned a few brands there at the beginning, big brands. What would you say, what are some of the things you would recommend to listeners that are maybe hitting the ceiling of we can pick an arbitrary number. They're sort of stuck at 20 mil. They're stuck at an amount. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's several £1 million a year. What are some of the strategies that you're seeing some of the more progressive e-com store marketing teams or leadership teams? What are they doing to push through to that next 5-10 mil and more?
Now, you might be looking for an SEO boost, a down-to-earth digital PR campaign to share your story, or maybe just some straightforward technical help to amp up your performance. Now that's where eCom Now comes in. A partner that's all about making things easier for your online store. Our services cover everything from creating professional content for your e-commerce categories to refining your product descriptions. Now, whether you're just starting out or have been in it for a while, we're here to deliver real impactful results that add to your bottom line without unnecessary commitments. You can order one-off or multiple projects with a quick turnaround. Simply choose what you need.
I think first of all is to understand your customer, how well you understand your customer. So, of course, this is not new, but with digital age, it becomes sometimes challenging, and sometimes you get overwhelmed with the data, right? So it can be really extreme. So I think knowing your customer in terms of where exactly your customer is for which type of product, right? So when I say knowing your customer is which category or which particular brand for you serves well in which region. So for example, if you're selling health supplements, and I'm just making it up, let's say north of UK, health supplements sell very well compared to south of UK, right? And if you have this categorization, if you are able to really cut down the data to that level, then you can decide whether you want to store the inventory closer to your consumers. So I think a lot of businesses or sellers are looking at how fast they can serve their customers. And that's where it comes in, where you understand your customers' demographics, their actual location, and what works. And then you place your inventory accordingly nearby to fulfill their orders faster. That is one approach which I have seen a lot of brands are focusing on. The second is of course, in terms of share search, typically what happens when you go as a buyer, you put down certain search words. So, for example, air fryer. I'll probably go and put air fryer on Amazon and then see maybe hundreds of listings. But then I pick up one particular product only. I think knowing why and how many search listings have appeared. If you're on the second page of Amazon, literally no one will come there, right? So you have to be on the first page of Amazon search results. Same with Google, for example. So I think knowing how well you can be in those first 10, that is very, very important. Content piece is another very, very important, which I have seen a lot of businesses are focusing. Their marketing teams are spending a lot of time in terms of using the right keywords. Sometimes children or kinder or adult makes a lot of sense, or teenage makes a lot of sense, right? The way individuals, the buyers, consumers are searching, it makes a lot of sense where your product lands in. I was talking to someone last week, and exactly this is what happened. They are selling a particular product, and they saw their competitors started getting more, and their market share started getting down. And they did some study in terms of comparing the content, and they saw that the only difference was these guys were using teenage, while the competitor was using kinder as a word, and then for that specific category, kinder makes more sense. So I think knowing that is very, very important. So knowing the customer, knowing how well your content is. Third piece, which I have seen, is making it easy for shipping, pick up, drop off, for example. So like these days, we see a lot of lockers being placed every now and then, every here and there. Making that facility available to your customers makes it very, very easy as well. So I would say these are a couple of elements. Of course, this is not a full set, but again, depends on brand to brand and category to category. I have seen a lot of work is happening.
I mean, lockers is an interesting one, isn't it? I think I've probably developed a slight addiction to Vinted in the last 6 months. And quite a lot of the times those products get shipped to local lockers and I have to go and pick them up. I think it's quite handy. Obviously, more and more people are working, where they're not maybe sure where they're going to be working from. Are they going to work from home? Are they going to work from office? They're going to work from a coffee shop? Are they going to be in a meeting? They're maybe not so sure where they're going to be on that particular day. Not obviously that's a small percentage, but it's still, if you can get a 10% lift with an eCom store because there's an option to have that delivered to a locker, or obviously that's a made up percentage, but it's these little touches. And then going back to the copy and the content, I think a lot of people are still, they're not spending time on quite a simple, well, I call it simple because it's what we do for a living, but copywriting content piece where they're, it's funny you should say sort of you were talking about appealing to a certain age of and we have we represent quite a few companies that sell products in the baby niche, but there's obviously babies and then there's toddlers, and then there's children. Now they're just saying that out loud, you assume that a baby is 0 to maybe 1.5, maybe I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but and then a toddler is what, 1.5 to 3, is it? Maybe, I'm not sure. And then a child, would you call a 3-month-old a child? You say, oh, look at that baby. So it's like a definition, but that translates though to when you're thinking about your categorization on your website and creating different categories, you should have a baby, toddler, and child category in theory. Absolutely. If you're selling car seats, a car seat for a baby is not necessarily the same car seat for a 6-year-old. It's a different. So trying to cover those search terms, so it's quite a deep. It can become quite an exercise, and then what happens is you end up creating, as I think you're alluding to, you can create extra categories, extra areas on your website to cover off the gaps. The content gaps, in effect, the category content gaps, subcategories. Interesting. Because I think a lot of people just sort of take the categorization that they've maybe had for a long while and just live with it. Where in reality, I think doing the work on those categorization, on the categories, and you'll find that actually, there's quite a lot of products in the wrong category. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have seen some of our customers, on one side, they get happy because their revenue is growing. But then some of them are very smart where they also go deep into the category level and they start to realize that, oh, I'm making money, my revenue is increasing, but then why my particular revenue on certain categories is going down? What is the reason?
Yeah.
And I think that is very, very important to know that whether it is they are in a wrong place or the competition is catching up. I think it is very, very important. So I have seen some of our customers doing that deep level of study, and that's where, as I mentioned earlier, that's one of the other products we offer, where the system basically makes sure that it brings all that analytics and insights of your online digital shelf health and throws that information to, let's say, to the head of e-commerce or the marketing managers or the decision makers who wants to typically decide what to sell next or at what price point to sell. It's not necessary that. So, in fact, it goes to this extent where someone keeps tracking that when my competitors' products are going out of stock, and then I shoot my price up, and then I still make money on top of it, right? So so things are becoming very, very smart, and then of course we always want to make sure that we bring in that innovation through our products as well.
That's an interesting on price, isn't it? Because I think quite a lot of people, don't use price as a marketing lever like they could. If you're selling a particular product, usually several other people are selling that product if it's a branded product. But if those other people are out of stock and there's been an uplift in demand for a particular product and you're the only ones with stock, you can put your prices up, not down. I think quite a lot of people forget that or don't monitor that. And obviously there's quite a lot of different pricing tools out there that can do that. We work with pricing quite heavily, who are a pricing tool that we recommend. Okay, so what would you say are some of the most pressing challenges that the industry is facing right now?
Okay, so I think I was going through one of the studies and I see that the e-commerce share of the total retail in the UK is around 26-27%, which is still quite significant compared to the other European countries. I believe what is happening today is, one, there is a lot of stress today on sustainability, right? So that's something which a lot of businesses have started to focus on.
Yeah.
What it means is, whatever you deliver, whatever the revenue that you're generating, you have your business sustainable, or at least you have a roadmap to sustainability. Because of this, lot of businesses have started to turning down their product returns, right? Because eventually it's the shipping, it's the logistics that comes into picture. It's the product that's getting manufactured. So probably the same product is getting manufactured 10 times, and then you're only selling maybe 4 units out of it, right? But then you still have to manufacture 10 units out of it, right? So a lot of, I think this is something where a lot of businesses I have started seeing are really facing some challenge in terms of how to balance how much to produce and still be sustainable, and then make sure that you have lesser and lesser returns, right? So I think that's where the challenge is coming. If it is domestic, it is still fine, sometimes manageable, especially in the developed countries. But then when it comes to cross-border, it becomes quite a challenge. So if, let's say, a big retailer from here doing shipments, let's say 3 times a week to Singapore, and then having returns maybe 20% of the shipment that is going there, it's a quite massive impact on them. And then eventually, of course, it impacts the overall price that consumer pays, right? So all of that gets adjusted in that. So I think sustainability, returns, how much to produce or manufacture, I think that's where a lot of stress is coming.
Isn't it? Well, I think if we were to pull everyone's balance sheet, a typical merchant doing £20 million dollars a year, they look at their balance sheet and the value on that balance sheet of stock, and how much what percentage of that stock is actually returns or overvalued, overcompensated for on the balance sheet. I mean, returns, it literally used to keep me up at night, the amount, the value sitting in the corner of the warehouse of the returns, and obviously getting that turned back into cash, getting those products resold. What are you seeing some of the progressive merchants doing to reduce returns?
I think some innovation in terms of course, these days AI is again one of the technologies that is picking up and quite widely. A lot of businesses I have started seeing that they provide a medium for an individual to see that to really feel that if it is my blue that I'm buying, how will I look in that blue, right? So a lot of innovation is happening on that front, so that you can reduce your returns, and whichever product that you deliver to the customer becomes happy with that. I think that's AI is definitely playing a good role, or has started to play a good role there to reduce these type of returns, especially in case of exchanges and not my blue type of returns, right? So I think that's one thing which I have started seeing. The second, I believe, is also some of the businesses are trying to produce kind of just in time, not exactly just in time, but very close to actual assessing that how much lead time that I will need, and then what type of products I should procure. And some businesses have also started taking advantage of the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Of course, your seasonality changes, but then they are trying to take leverage of that where it is winter in northern hemisphere, it's summer, and then try to see if they can sell the same products in the southern hemisphere and still make money out of it. So I think that's where some of these innovations are happening in terms of how we can push those products. They probably may not store the products locally down under, let's say in Australia, still have it here, but then they sell on discounted price and then have a bulk shipment going from here to Australia and then distribute it locally. So I think these are on the logistics side, on the shipment side, and in terms of giving that feel to the consumer that what type of product you are buying, that's something which is quite important. And I've started seeing that businesses are doing it.
I think like apparel is a tricky one, isn't it? People I know historically would order 2 or 3 sizes of a clothing item or a shoe or a couple of sizes, and then obviously maybe send one back or send however many back. But I've noticed more and more apparel brands are sort of, I'm not sure how to explain it, but they add like a tag to the item.
Yes.
And it says if this is removed, then you can't send it back.
Correct.
Because obviously some people might be buying them and wearing one and sending one back. But I noticed my wife ordered something a couple of weeks ago, and it came with a like a strap that was wrapped around it, and it said if this is removed, you cannot return it.
Correct.
And I think obviously that's a good thing. Obviously people are going to start reducing the quantity that they order, knowing full well they're going to send 1 or 2 back or all of them back. And it's trying to find that balance, isn't it, a lot of the time? Because obviously you want to give the consumer the choice to be able to try on something maybe, but there's quite a difference between ordering a couple of sizes to get the right size, but then some people will just order quite a lot, and then wear them and then send them back. So it's a tricky balance, isn't it?
Yeah, and even sometimes you get a duplicate product as well.
Yeah,
it happens. I mean, I have seen some of the examples in some countries in Asia where you deliver a right product, but then what you receive in return is a duplicate product. Of course, with this technology of tag that you mentioned, you can definitely secure it, make sure that you're getting the right product.
So we've managed to get that order. And obviously now we've got an opportunity to really wow that customer with an exceptional post-purchase experience. What would you say to our listeners about ensuring that journey now is an exceptional one?
Correct. So I think a couple of things. One is, of course, the very usual one is, how was your feedback? That's one, right? But I think beyond that, if we can also share any information in terms of, by the way, you purchased so and so product. Those who purchase this product, they also purchase some of these products within 3 months or within 6 months of time, right? Or they purchase so and so services or warranty, etc. I think that could be one. Also sharing insights in terms of some of the products that you have purchased over last, let's say, 6 months, year till date, etc. How much, in terms of how much value that it has brought in, and how much. Now again, I'm correcting it back to sustainability, where how much we have saved while delivering it to you because of so and so product that were delivered in to you or and nearby areas. So I think that's second, which I see post purchase. The third could be in terms of getting to know what else they would have expected. I think hearing it back from the buyers. In terms of course, in very specific categories. Otherwise, you can get a ChatGPT response as well. But actually categorizing it in terms of what you want to understand from the buyers. I think that is very important. That if I purchased, let's say, an Apple MacBook, what would you expect to buy maybe down the line? Which other products that you are looking for? How was your experience? Right. So, or were you expecting anything else from our side in terms of services, the way that the product was delivered, etc. So categorically, objectively asking those questions will help you when you deliver the products next time or to some other new customer, but giving that wow experience, which probably the new customer wouldn't have expected that from you. So of course, it is learning from one customer, but then making sure that it gets implemented. Don't have to wait for the repeat purchase from the same customer, but executing it for the new customers. I think that is also very, 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 very important in this case.
Yeah. I think that one, just that communication piece when that order has been placed. I think we're all very busy. We might have to go out. We might, just getting that time slot. Just a simple thing, having a time slot. So obviously that's connecting your systems up, if you like. If it's 11 to 11:15, which it makes a difference. You're not staying in all day. You're not waiting. When you don't need to be waiting, or you can plan your day. And just working obviously with reliable partners that data and that information is correct. I think so. I think the people that are listening now will be thinking, okay, this all sounds great. We want to maybe implement a few of the things that we've talked about if they're not already. Where to start when you're sort of doing maybe an audit of your, should we call it our sort of tech stack, away from not so much marketing stack, but, our tech stack around fulfillment, warehouse management, order management, how do you sort of begin to do an audit of where you are and where you want to be?
Sure. So, I consider that this is for the existing businesses, right? So in that case, who are already up and running, I think data reliability is very, very important in this particular case. And data at different touch points, like you mentioned about fulfillment, mentioned about delivery, how fast the delivery was done, who was your carrier, that plays a good role here in this case as well. The packaging of the product, that plays a good role as well, right? How fast you deliver. Your promotion analysis as well, because sometimes what happens is when you run Black Friday sale, for example, you sometimes try to overcommit, and then you don't deliver to that, and then you basically fail. I think getting those data points and then really trying to understand that what you could have done better, I think that is the first key area.
Yeah.
Of course, if So if a merchant is running their own operations or they are working with a 3PL, they of course need all this data at hand. And getting to know this is very, very important. On one side, your sales operations, if you exactly know that which products are being sold well, which bundles, virtual bundles, sometimes you create bundles, right? So let's say it is your MacBook, it is your MacBook sleeve, it's adapter, etc., and then you build that as a virtual bundle. How many those bundles are, or what type of bundles are being sold? I think that information on the sales operations side is very, very important. Second key piece, of course, it comes to your profitability or your margins that you're having on the fulfillment side, right? So be it running your own warehouse, be it working with the 3PL, how many orders you are able to fulfill in a day, and how if this load goes up, goes down, how well you're still within the range of your margins. I think that is very, very important. So in a way, sorry to digress a bit, but in my view, I think data reliability is very, very important. Unless you are able to get these data points, you will not be able to take any decisions. You can't fix what you can't measure. So if you have the systems, a right warehouse management system, a right order management system, a right partner in terms of carrier, a right process in your warehouses, I think all of this collectively definitely helps you to achieve and overachieve and give that wow experience to the customers over and over.
That's great. Thank you so much. So in your view, what are some of the most pressing challenges right now in the industry?
I think aside to compliance, I believe what is important is to actually know the market there. If you're a brand who wants to sell on e-commerce, wants to sell on different channels, I think it is important to first know what is actually selling in that country. What's the category? What is the price point? What type of products are being sold? I think that is very, very important, because I know this because some of our customers from Europe, while using one of our products, they did this study before launching their product in other countries, because then they could really see that for their category of products, they typically had like 1,500 SKUs. Not all SKUs they can bring in there in one go, right? So they have to plan strategically. So I think, so the way they did, or I would suggest should be done, is first understand which category, how many competitors or how many sellers that you see in that particular category, what type of products are being sold, what are the price points, what are the commitments being made by those sellers, whether it is same day delivery, next day delivery, etc., and then whether you will be able to meet that commitment, right? I think that is very, very important. You don't have to sell all your assortment, but you can pick choose out of 1,500. Probably you can only sell 100 first and start test waters, and then start bringing more and more products as you gain the insights. So yeah, so aside to compliance, I think this is very, very important. Then comes whether you ship it order by order or you have a forward place inventory. That again depends. If you're of course going into developing countries, low cost countries, you probably get a benefit of having a forward placed inventory, but primarily considering the cost of storage there. But then you definitely need a good fulfillment partner or storage partner in case you don't have your own entity business set up there, and then you're still trying to set up. So I think second piece is how the fulfillment will be done. If you're shipping the products from the UK to Saudi, and compared to if you're storing the products in Saudi, that is very, very important. It is not always necessary that you start from forward place inventory. You can always do order by order from here, work with maybe some of the aggregators, get some committed volume, and take that benefit to still ship order by order. And then once you have decent insights in terms of which category, which products, what's the volume, then you can go with the forward-placed inventory.
Abi, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, I like to finish every episode with a book recommendation. Do you have a book to recommend?
One book. Wow, I'm bad in reading, actually, that, by the way. But I would say Measure What Matters. I think that is quite interesting for me, because that gave me a lot of insights in terms of importance of measuring something, and it then starts feeding you in terms of where to look for pockets of data, and then how you can translate that, and then what you can do with that data.
Well, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. For those that want to find out more about you, what's the best way to do that?
Of course, Enchanto.com, on LinkedIn. We are all there, on Facebook as well. Or you can, of course, reach out to me on LinkedIn straight up as well.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Abi. I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, Richard. It was wonderful having here. Great insights. And I hope it was helpful for the listeners.
Thanks, Abi. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you are listening to this podcast, so you're always the first to know when a new episode is released. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next one.